Hi everyone, welcome into this week's My Weekly CBS Fix. Hope you had a great week. In this week's Haftaras Shmos, the Jews are subject to exile in Egypt, the worst type of suffering they can have, until finally Hashem brings them out of Egypt and brings them to Mount Sinai, where they accept the Torah and become Hashem's people. In this week's Haftarah, we read from the book of Isaiah. And Isaiah gives a lot of rebuke. Now, first he tells us about that one day God will blow the great shofar and reassemble all the Jews. And at the end of the Haftarah, he also tells us how just like Hashem redeemed Abraham, so too in the future when Mashiach comes, Hashem is going to redeem the Jewish people. But sandwiched in between those is some really kind of scary prophecy that Isaiah gives us. And the rebuke that he gives us is kind of scary. Now, at the same time, this kind of gives us a little bit joy in the fact that our Torah is true, and when the sages want to rip us for the sins that we do, they do that. And no words are held back, and no insults and castigations against us are held back because the Torah is true. So Isaiah goes on to talk about the drunkards of Ephraim, the northern kingdom. There was Yehuda and there's Yisrael. There was the 10 tribes and the 2 tribes. The 10 tribes were called the people of Ephraim, and he calls them the drunkards of Ephraim. Now, why were they called that? They were arrogant with their abundance that they had, and because of their abundance, they slipped away from following Hashem. And he tells them that ultimately in the future they will become withered like a flower, that even a nation that's as weak as women will be able to come and conquer them. And that's what happened. Whereas the people in Yehuda, King Chizkiah, the righteous King Chizkiah, will be able to uphold the Jewish people. But then he continues on to say that after Chizkiah's death, even then, even the people of Yehuda will also fall prey to the wine. And their overeating and overdrinking and all their overindulgence will also eventually come to be their shame. They'll be covered with vomit and diarrhea and filth, all embarrassing stuff. Now, with all this, I couldn't help but think about how we are today. Are we possibly the drunkards of Ephraim? Are we overeating and overindulging in every single type of pleasure? It just doesn't end. We have restaurants galore in every single type of restaurant, and we eat and we eat and we eat, and we drink and we drink and we drink. And this type of overindulgence, even for poor people are eating out like never before, and they're overindulgent like never before, not only in food, but also in other material items, phones and cars. Everybody's got the latest, and it's just become a complete shift in our focus and a complete shift in how we live our lives. And it says also that the sages will try to teach us Torah, and the people won't want to listen, not because of how much Torah they're being burdened with, but even a little morsel of Torah, that won't be enough. And like today, it's like all these videos that come out, including my own, 5-minute videos, the 1-minute Torah video, like it's too much. And the people are like, I can't take this 1-minute video either. People won't tune in. And why is that? We're so distracted, and we're so distracted because of all the materialism that we're so mired in. We're stuck in the quicksand of materialism. And then when the Torah leaders would try to say something, what happened? Not only did they not listen, they even scoffed at the prophets. And are we any different? The rabbis get up to say something. What does he know? Who is he? He also does that. He's nothing like his teacher. All of a sudden, he's a rabbi. And instead of taking the messages, we look at the messenger and we start trying to rip him apart and why he shouldn't be telling us what to do. But meanwhile, instead, they should just be thinking, he's speaking for the betterment of us. And that's becoming our downfall. And our downfall is that we're not listening to the messages today. But like we always like to do, we always like to finish off the video with good tidings. And the good tidings are that in the future, like we said before, that the same way Abraham got redeemed, the Jewish people will ultimately be redeemed. And they won't have any cause, or they won't cause themselves any more shame. So hopefully we look forward to that day. May Mashiach come soon. And the one way that we'll merit to see Mashiach is to realize that we're stuck in this quicksand. We have to try to start doing our utmost to get out. And when we see something that's exciting or interesting to eat, maybe hold back a little bit. When we see some other type of indulgence, maybe hold back once or twice and have this realization, I'm not stuck in materialism. I could hold back and I do have control. And I do think about Hashem and start shifting our focus back towards Hashem. Maybe that will be the merit for us. Sometimes we got to be a little bit heavy because the prophet's heavy and we're interested in the truth, but the truth shall set us free. Thank you for listening. Have a wonderful Shabbos.